Before 20 years ago, not a lot was known about the origin of birds. Their physical characteristics match no other type of species on Earth. They have hollow beaks, feathers, and the capability of flight, which all begs the question, where did birds come from? Birds are an animal group that have had many theories regarding their evolutionary history. Birds are a very distinct animal group and are different from other animals. They have feathers, toothless beaks, hind limbs, bipedals, hollow bones, perching feet, wishbones, deep breastbones, and stump-like tailbones. There are no other species that share these same traits, and that is why their evolutionary history is hard to trace. We can distinguish that birds are descendants from theropod tetrapods, which were ground, meat-eating dinosaur-like creatures. What archaeologists have discovered, though, is a vast amount of fossil records that we can identify that the probable evolution of birds in its 150 million years have resulted in a reduced size and have become more feathered. The Jurassic and Cretaceous era gave rise to a group known as theropods. The theropod have given much evidence for the support of theropods being ancestors to birds. Undoubtedly, one of the best pieces of evidence to back up theropod ancestry to birds is the uncovering of Archaeopteryx in 1861. The blue jay-sized remnants show bird-like wings and feathers as well as many reptilian qualities. Due to the very dinosaurian skeleton of Archaeopteryx, paleontologists suggest that birds are descendants of dinosaurs. Dating even farther back is a recent discovery of the 220-year-old lizard fossil, Logosquama. The impressions of the fossil show about 8 pairs of feathers along the spine. Also, the way these feathers grew gave evidence that they were in fact feathers and not scales due to the follicles that they grew out of. Logosquama was a tree-dwelling being that may have evolved for its ability to fly. If Logosquama is not a distant relative of the bird, another study says that birds have trimmed their DNA after a mutation long ago. It is proven that animals that have the ability to fly contain less DNA, and because of this, birds can generate more energy to fly. As we learned in class, mutations occur to help an animal group to evolve. This happened with birds, as the birds with less DNA were able to survive due to the benefits that has with the strenuous task of flying. In the article from Today's Science, it states that cells with less DNA tend to be smaller, and small cells have large surfaces where oxygen is packed in. As the article says, this makes them efficient energy producers. Over time, the bird had used natural selection to help its trimmed DNA birds to thrive and used flight to escape from predators. Just as theropod skeletons have discovered hollow bones and fused feet, this is also grounds for the theory of less DNA. Right around the time Darwin was working on his Origin of Species, a paleontologist discovered a feather of a bird in limestone dating back 150 million years ago. Sometime later, the skeleton of a bird-like creature was discovered in the same region. This skeleton had wings and feathers, but an unusual bony tail. A few years after Darwin published The Origin of Species in 1861, Thomas Huxley compared the hind limbs of an ostrich to those of a fossil from the prehistoric era. He found over 30 similarities between these two bones that did not occur in other species. Many birds retained characteristics of non-avian dinosaurs, such as talons and toothed jaw. Evolution in general is vastly important in order to solve and help life's problems. We apply our knowledge of evolution through the uses of healthcare and more specifically, phylogenetic analysis. By using phylogenetic analysis, we can observe DNA sequences and track if humans are evolving to certain pathogens, and if not, treat them based on our analysis. Such diseases include the West Nile virus and bird flu. If not for this understanding, we would not have vaccines and our population would suffer. There are known variants and traits that formed a defense against diseases such as HIV. So in the future, it is possible that we will see these protective traits become more common among certain populations. However, diseases like HIV evolve much faster than humans, so it might be hundreds of years before humans are able to develop a defense against these illnesses common in all people. Yet, having an understanding of the evolution of this disease and the evolution of ourselves can lead to technological advancements in things such as vaccines and possibly create a way where we can speed up our evolution against harmful diseases. Evolution informs the decisions we make today because by having the knowledge of how we have evolved and how we might evolve in the future, society can prepare for these changes with advancements in technology and medicine. By having this foregone knowledge, it allows us to better understand our environment and how we can better protect ourselves from the dangers like diseases within the environment we live in. Although may take possibly thousands of years for natural selection to really make an impact on how we live, I think the knowledge of evolution will help us make enormous strides in terms of technology and vaccines to help us live longer.